Spiritual Living Leesburg. The theme for the theme for the year of 2023 is Living Out Loud. And for the month of October, our theme is Playing with Paradox. The title of our talk today is The Tyranny of the Or. Doesn't that sound intriguing? I can't wait to find out what that's all about. And it will be given by our wonderful spiritual director, Charlene. We are so thrilled that you took some time out of your day to join us today. So sit back, relax as we begin our opening video to officially kick things off. And I want to say, before we do that, if you have any celebrations or concerns, feel free to put them in the chat and we'll include them later when we do our spiritual mind treatment, which is a form of affirmative prayer. All right, now we're ready for our opening video. So welcome. Please join us as we create our sacred space. We set our intentions of deepening into our awareness and practice of our 5 pillars of spiritual living by lighting this candle in our virtual world. Our first pillar is sacred study, represented by the divine quality of truth. We use this pillar to recognize the importance of an open mind and the power of our minds. The second pillar is affirmative prayer, represented by the divine quality power. This pillar honors the power of prayer in our daily lives. Our third pillar is meditation and the divine quality of peace. This pillar reminds us of the importance of meditation and the peace we feel when we quiet our minds. The fourth pillar is circulation and the divine quality of life. We know that the great law of circulation works in our lives. As we give, so shall we receive. And the fifth pillar is sacred service and the divine quality of love. This pillar affirms our call to be of service to our world as we see through the eyes of love. Let us close our eyes as we bless this sacred space and our time together. As we weave each of these pillars of spiritual living into our service today, may they deepen our own spiritual practices of study, prayer, meditation, circulation, and service, expanding our minds and our hearts to the 5 divine qualities of truth, power, peace, life, and love. We also bless everyone who made our service possible today and everyone in attendance. May the energy of love that is generated here bless everyone abundantly. And so it is. All right, folks. So for our meditation today, once a month, I like to do my favorite meditation, the loving kindness meditation. And when I read the quote that's in my little journal, many of you have one of these, I thought, yeah, this is kind of like the perfect time to do that. So most of you are familiar with this. I'm going to say a phrase and then give you a chance to repeat it. So here we go. Let's begin our meditation. And you're going to just relax your body as we begin. Take a deep breath. And release. We live such busy lives, always going. But meditation is a time when you just hit the pause button. Slow down. Be still. Breathe deeply. Just go within, focusing our thoughts instead of letting them jump around. What do I have to do next? What's else is going on? No. Just be still and be present in this moment. So here we go with loving kindness meditation. Repeat after me. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be happy. May I be happy. And now we're going to say it for someone else, a loved one, someone in the room with you, someone who's far away, but we know we're all connected. Let's send loving kindness out to them. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be happy. May you be happy. Now, here's the tricky part. I think this kind of ties in with our message today. Think of someone who's maybe just irritating you, rubbing you the wrong way, someone that is presenting a challenge. Can you come up with somebody? So we're going to send out a message to loving kindness to them. And I really want you to hold them in love and kindness as you repeat after me. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be happy. May you be happy. Now, if you're like me, sometimes I have to turn off the news, right? It can be so overwhelming these days. So let's send this message out into the universe, out to our world, to every single person on our planet. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be happy. May you be happy. I hope that felt as good to you as it did to me. Wow. Sometimes I even got some goosebumps as I was saying that. So that's our meditation. Gently come back to us as we return. Open your eyes if need be. Enjoy that beautiful sunset as we get ready for music by Leah.
I love you, sky. I love you, moon. I love you, sunshine. You're always gone too soon. But coming around once again, so I can say once again how I love you. I love you, laughter, and I love you, change. I'm learning to say I appreciate you, pain. When you come around once again, I'll try to say once again how I love you for all that you've given for free. All of this living is happening in me. Oh, I love you, sky. I love you, stars. And I still wonder exactly what you are. At night when you rise once again, you'll hear me sing once again, 'cause I love you every now and again. I got to say it again, life, I love you.
Oh my gosh, that was so good. Ah, my heart is like really beating fast. That was amazing. I need to just put that on loop every morning. Waking up, even when I'm walking the dog, just because I walk the dog. It's dark, y'all, and it's cold these days. And I'm out there walking the dog. I got the little light so I could see. And when I'm mindful enough, I can be like, wow, I love being alive. I have such a good life. And boy, was she right when she said that sun doesn't stay here long enough. Absolutely. As our days are getting shorter and shorter, man, talk about gratitude. And Tamara, that, you can never do loving kindness too many times. Just the way we ended that, and there's a cute baby distracting me on Zoom. I'm going to try not to look at that sweet little face, but oh my gosh, Larry. Don't make me share your screen. Anyway, that baby's cute. Another thing to be grateful for. We have so many things to be grateful for. However, I want to talk to you about this thing that's going around. And no, it's not the cold that you might be able to hear in my voice. I want to talk to you about this or. You can get with this or you could get with that, but you can't have both. You've heard the songs, you've heard the terms, you've heard the false dichotomies, these false polarities that the world of our experience loves to have going on. We love a little tug of war, don't we? I was talking about a friend, we were talking in dream study, and it came up. It was like, don't we love to label things? Something comes in the door and we're like, aha, I've seen you before, you're bad. Wait, maybe I haven't seen you before. Maybe this is not that. Maybe it's good. Hold on. Maybe it's bad. Our minds are jumping back and forth between, I'm going to label this immediately so that I can know that I'm safe. It's all about safety, survival, and propagation of the species. Let's make sure that that's the case. When we were back in the day, when prehistoric people, maybe we were running around and we would stop and we'd hear a noise. It would serve our survival if we thought that that was a tiger, even if it turns out that it wasn't a tiger. We hedge our bets toward the negative. And so when we see something new and we don't really know what it is, or when we experience something new and we're not sure what to think about it, something has changed and we're not sure what we think, we tend toward well, it's probably bad, let's avoid that. And I get it, it's just about survival, but we have to be conscious. We have to look, because this either or, good or bad. I have other examples of the polarities so you could get a sense of the nuances that are all over our lives. Just know that when we look at this in either or, we're keeping ourselves in a sort of bondage. Yeah. That's why we call this title, the title is The Tyranny of the Or. It demands that we choose and then makes us stick with that choice. It's a little weird, and it's as if there's only two ways. In fact, if you think about this, our world is so full of these polarities that we can be pushed to the breaking point. And I know some of us really feel like that right now. If we do happen to turn on the news, yikes, turn that back off, tyranny of the or, choose either or. And what's really crazy to me is that both sides of this conflict, Israel versus Palestine, Gaza, Hamas, uh, what's the other one? The Lebanon one. Yeah, it's a lot going on. Each side is calling the other side evil. So I'm sure they're both right in a way. So what are we supposed to do? We bring ourselves to this brink, this breaking point, and we realize that we've been so accustomed to forcing ourselves to choosing between an either and or that we've been unable to think outside the box. We've been unable to find solutions that might exist if we simply open our eyes. So I read a story recently. I think you'll like this. It illustrates what I'm talking about. It has to do with ducks. You gotta love a duck. Am I right? For years, a mother duck led her family of ducklings to the same pond year after year. Ducklings to the same pond. It was a place of safety and it was beautiful. However, one year she found it to be dry and empty. Nothing remained but dried mud. Yet she persisted in bringing her babies down to that very place where she would walk about. She walked about flapping her wings, anxiously quacking. Now, her babies are looking at her like, who's going to tell her? There's no water in that pond. And they're looking at her like, girl, what are you doing? And she's, acting like, come on in, the water's fine. She was trying to get her brood to enter. They wouldn't enter. The ducklings, however, they had fresh instincts. They heard the far off rippling of the water in a new dam that had just been built further upstream. Now the little ducklings refused to enter into the dried mud hole. Instead, they left their mother quacking about in the dried mud and head on up to find the water that they heard. The mother duck, we call this a closed mind. She couldn't accept the reality. The new water's gone. The water that you've been used to, that you've been comfortable with all these years, it is gone. She chose not to live in that world of it's gone. She decided she was going to pretend that it was still good. We flapping, let's go. No. That's not the case. That's not the reality. She remained in her little world because her little world was familiar. But how many of us are like this? How many of us notice when something new is afoot and we realize, something's weird, something's strange. I think it's good to watch the youngins because they can see something we can't see. And then it's uncomfortable. I get it. It's uncomfortable to leave the thing you thought you always knew. But when it's clear that that's not the thing anymore, we must be like little ducklings. We must be open to, well, what is the universe trying to tell me? What is the universe trying to say? What new ideas, what new avenues are opening up to me? And to do so is to remain, like Jesus said, like little children. Be like little children once again. Open to new things, knowing there's new exciting things waiting for us. This paradox of either or causes us not to view things in the way in which would be maybe supportive to us. For example, let's say you are at a job and the job has just given you a notice of layoff or whatever. Now, in this moment, we have the ability to go into the habitual, oh no, oh gosh, this is terrible. This is horrible. I'm not going to be, and how am I going to, and then terrifying and maybe bargaining and maybe trying to stay in a position that no longer serves us. Or we could say, well, that's great news. And you say, what? Hi, you just got laid off. How is that great news? It frees you up to find the next thing. Must be something amazing waiting for us if we've been let go of the last thing. And I'm telling you, this is my story of the last couple of years. I thought for sure that this one path was my path. And yes, contracting and programming. And I'm such a great programmer, and so is Blake, and we're going to go and we're going to break off on our own. And then we're going to get more contracts and keep going down that path. regardless of the fact that I was getting all these signals like, no, turn back. This is not good. I was going to conferences and I would hear people talking about all the exciting things that exist with government contracting. And then I would hear the real story, which was like, it's tough. It takes about 14 months to even get in the door. And even then you have to, and yeah, all this. And I'm like, yikes, this sounds terrible. Every time I went down this hopeful road, it was like the dried mud or the wet, it was wet mud, but it was still mud. It was not the lake that I was promised. It wasn't a pond. And I was like, a little bit terrified. But then I thought about this, and I want you guys to think about this too, because it's never either or. It's never either do, because I knew I was going to become, we will be whole. It'll be fine. But I thought that there was one way to do that. And the universe is always giving us many, 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 many. I could say all the manys a lot of times, but you get it a lot of different ways, a plethora of ways, if you will. You get a lot of ways to do the thing you want to do, but we can become so closed-minded because we had in our mind what that would look like. And then we just fake it till we make it, flapping around on that muddy pond bed. And I turned around, literally turned around, looked at my email one day, and oh, my friends who had started this new company were like, come teach with us. We need you. We've been thinking about you. We need to add you to the roles. You'd be great, your energy and all. And I got there. Now I've been there a year. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that I was willing to continue down a path that would have me become smaller, quieter, more demure, and just fit in. And these people, they're like, oh my gosh, be 100% yourself. Please tell jokes. Please jump around. Your energy is infectious. They're putting me in places that they're like, oh, we know the perfect person to come train your whole staff on this. We'll send Charlene. And they said, please be yourself because they don't want to be bored. Oh, I got you. You're not going to be bored, that's for sure. But the cool part is I get to be 100% myself. It pays much better. And I get the work done in half the time I was taking before. Never question the tyranny of the or. Never listen. There's other things waiting. They're ready. They're lined up at the door trying to get to you as well. If only you could realize that. And I can just know that if this is true for me, and I've read about it being true and we study, we learn that this is true for all of us, yet we try to hold on to the thing that is in our face now. Afraid to let it go because what if? But the universe has in mind for us so much more than we could ever imagine that we'll laugh at our small thinking because it's truly small. And it's okay that it's small. We are just one tiny prick of light in the vast light of the world. And we are not the only ones that are being divinely imbued with all these skills and talents. We trust that there's a divine plan unfolding, and yet we must get up and move. Every single one of the steps I took to thinking I was going down one path was actually pointing me, nudging me toward this other way. And I think the best part about all this, it comes full circle. Because as I make my way to these organizations and teach them things, then they look at our company as saying, oh, well, then come on in and do some contracting too. Why not? Why not both? Why do we have to say either or? Why is it either contracting or teaching? Why not both? That is the sweet spot where you could get a little bit from everything that wakes you up, makes you alive. Each one of those things are important, and we never have to choose a path of, well, let's say you're in college and there's two majors. I could choose this major that's not, it's okay. Or I could choose this other major that's okay. I have a friend who he went to Brown University, one of the only guys I think he told me. He said he created his own path and just took things that he wanted to learn from 3 different subjects, brought it to I don't know what they're called, magistrate, whoever leads colleges, and they blessed it and he got to do that. We can always find a way around what we think is no way. Because if we have either or thinking, if we stay there, it'll lead to self-criticism and it will cause us to be perfectionists. This is the tyranny of the or. We feel like you have to choose between two extremes, one or the other. And then the perfection sometimes keeps us paralyzed because neither of those are good because they're both terrible options. There's a third way. There's a third way that combines the best parts, if only we will open our minds up to see it. Ernest Holmes has a quote, hold on. Yes, I love this part. Do you remember this phrase from Christianity? Behold, I make all things new. Yeah. There's nothing permanent but change. The infinite intelligence can never be caught up in any one thing that it's doing. What it does is expresses its being at a given time, and it's always doing that, which means it's always changing. That, behold, I make all things new. There's an underlying principle that's the same, but it's never repeating itself. Everything is always new. In fact, today you might have meditated one day, one way, and tomorrow you may do it in an entirely different way because you're different, right? No person steps into the same river twice because the river's changed and so has the person. Every single day, the divine intelligence is also doing that. Everything's new every single day. But it's always done in accordance with its fundamental harmony. So that was from How to Use the Science of Mind in Ernest Holmes, one of his publications. He goes on to say in his book, Richer Living, change is the law of human experience. The law is change. He says, for only God is permanent. The infinite mind is forever conceiving new ideas, and the infinite law is forever producing new forms. Infinite, because that's the key word there, working, always producing new forms, always conceiving new ideas, and that's coming through us if we allow it. So really, it's about us opening parts of ourselves to be aware of possibly a third way, and don't let ourselves get caught up in these false dichotomies. We think about dichotomies, they're usually it's a polarity or anything where you have these two sides of something, either or. For example, you could be successful or you could be happy. Have you heard that one? You could be successful or you could be happy. So does that mean I have to sacrifice happiness if I want to be successful? Yikes. I mean, seeing the world in black and white, that is how you promote intolerance. Literally black and white, that's how you promote intolerance. You're more likely to view those who disagree with you as an enemy, even though, as we know, every really good story starts out with a protagonist and an antagonist. And if that story unfolds in a way that's intriguing, we're going to see parts of that antagonist that are not so bad. And we're going to see parts of that protagonist that are not that great. Each of us has a full spectrum inside of us. And unless you're 3 years old, which is fine, it's fine to see, oh, that's the bad guy, an identified bad guy who has a single character trait, and that's just to be bad. And so that, therefore, the good guy can come in and save the day. But we're well beyond that now. We are well beyond that stage. We're at the stage where we can start to see every bad character, so-called bad, the way we've cast them. There's some quality in them that's not 100% bad. At worst case scenario, there'll be some origin story where at least you could say, oh, I see why you're so bad, because given your childhood or whatever. A lot of times character development in stories, plays, movies, those help inform how our society is teaching itself to become tolerant with each other. So if we think about like I was saying, between Israel and Palestine, the either or, each of them saying, oh, the other one's evil. And so that's what I was saying. It probably, there's a little bit of both going on. I personally would prefer that human life be treated with the reverence that it needs to be treated, instead of as pawns on a chessboard. It's not good. So to me, I'm encouraging myself to see that area with loving kindness, even though I have my preferences and I wish they'd hurry up and get to the harmony, but knowing that right where they are, it is unfolding, and that you're just praying that there's more awareness unfolding in them, that, yikes, well, we're not that different. Now, the other way that having polarities, either or, the whole tyranny that's going on with the or, is that it causes anxiety and stress. If we feel like we have to choose, and one is good and one is bad, or if two bad options, or we can't see the redeeming quality in every single interaction that we have, if we can't find anything redeeming in something, then we're going to be stressed out. If we have the kind of job where we have to show up every day and we have to deal with these people and we've already passed them as bad, man, let's start with that loving kindness meditation. Even just pointing it to the people at work, kind of prepping that spot before you get there, getting it ready for your arrival. And notice how things change. Energy shifts when we send our loving kindness ahead of us to pave the way. So we want, instead of choosing success or happiness, how about both? Finding a balance. The Buddhists call it the middle way, where you can have equanimity, which is an equal sense about you when you're looking at something so-called good and when you're looking at something so-called bad. One way to practice this, let's see if you could practice equanimity. I'm going to try it too. When someone gives you negative feedback, can we be as calmly? Okay, can you be even energy-wise? What the word is. Can you have an even energy about that as you do when they give you a compliment? Can we be even in our energy toward somebody who says something that makes you feel great? Okay, yes, thank you. And somebody says something that makes you feel terrible. And then what do we mean by makes us feel anyway? It becomes a whole action of mindfulness to bring our mindful awareness into that moment. And then we're not being flung about by other people's actions. We're more observers, and we're taking it in as information, and we're using it to help us do what we want to do. We're bringing our mastery into our lives. How many of us want to be flopped around like a rag doll by circumstances? No one. In my mind, I'd love to be that lady who you can't tell by the look on my face whether I just won the lottery or just got kicked out of the Starbucks. Like, you won't know just by looking at me. I want to be that calm energy that is looking at things and not being flipped and flopped around, not letting people raise my ire or make me. I don't want to have people make me anything. I want to bring my intention in, and then having that be informed by a good meditation session so that my ego is not running me. That's important. And then being able to just be there and not being tossed around by this either or. So we're finding a hybrid role between two sides. If you're thinking I could be successful or happy, let's question every single one of these assumptions and examine, see if they're true. If we're in conflict with another person, let's find a mediator if we have to find a third person, or be that center of yes and. Accepting everything, letting them talk, letting them say everything they have to say, repeating back to them what you heard, and just being that center of equanimity. And then even if we're just looking at a big task going, nope, not going to do that. How can we break it down to smaller pieces? How can we take this huge behemoth and break it down to something that's palatable? Each little step can get us somewhere, hoping for momentum and getting with our community and talking with our friends who love us, all little ways to make sure that we are not stuck. That if all we see is that pond, at least we've got friends that are like little ducklings. We're not going to be the little duckling in every scenario, right? Some things are going to be harder than others. And so in some cases, we might want to phone a friend, reach out, say, can you help me see this? I need you to be the little duckling. What am I missing? And maybe somebody will toss out a couple of ideas. So we've got a lot of opportunity to stay open at the top and keep growing and never let limitations have their way with us for long. Our systems, when we look around in the world, our systems that we have are no longer working. And instead of saying, are we going to go with technology or are we going to save the planet? Idea. How about we use technology to save the planet? I saw some videos about some people creating drones that are able to go far to areas that are not easily accessible by humans, and they're mapping the debris that's on beaches like at the Galapagos and low foot traffic places where ocean plastic gets caught up on beaches, netting and all kinds of debris that people have thrown away. They wash up on beaches. It's hard to map that. Well, now that we have drone technology and AI vision, not that hard to map that. So they're flying these drones around and using AI vision. Yep, that's a fishing net. There's a plastic bottle. Oh, TheTyranny. Nope, Aquafina. It's just, and they're cataloging all this. And the next step is to inform the people. They can get patterns. Okay, the fishers and based on the currents, and they can get patterns and then advise, using this technology to advise on how to clean up this big mess that we've made with our planet. And so I'm thinking, instead of either or, instead of having the environmentalists fighting with the tech bros, let's come together. What can we do? And that's what's happening. So let's keep our mind on all the harmony that we can create in response to this either or idea, letting it be the and. Now, next week, the topic is and. So hang with me for that. It's going to be a blast. All right, let me check the chat to see if anybody has any prayer requests. Let's go within. There is one divine energy. That divine infinite essence of life is moving, breathing, having its way as each and every one of us right here and right now. It can be no different. The creator doesn't abscond as soon as it creates. It is in and through and as its creation. And as such, it is evolving as us, through us. It needs us. Each and every one of us are the hands of God. And so as we know that we're one with the divine and that we cannot be separate even if we wanted to, I just invite everybody to just settle into that space that just says, I am. I am. And in this breath of I am, there's a conscious awareness that is ours alone. There's an invitation, there's an excitation, there's something pointing us to something bigger. And that is ours to do. And so I speak my word that anything that would raise its head and get in the way of our divine purpose is just released into the nothingness. We turn our attention away from that which blocks us and toward that which supports us, leading others if it's possible, but definitely being led by the spirit within. And just boldly, excitedly waking up each day saying, I love you, world. Just knowing that we are okay right where we are. And a special prayer of support and love goes to all of those experiencing any sort of strife, from the Middle East to the Ukraine, to any areas or pockets of this globe where there is not currently the evidence of harmony. I speak my word now that that is the order of the day, that it is unfolding right here and right now. And there are people who are becoming aware that they are the hands of God. And they will use their power with love to unite. And so I know that this is just amazing. I get excited about all of the ways in which these truths will unfold in each of our lives. I'm so grateful to be able to watch and to participate in this unfoldment. And so I simply release my word into the law, knowing the law always says yes. I let it go, I let it be, and so it is. Amen. Gosh. And now let's hear from Leah.
Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom. Here's a little song that I wrote, but I don't wanna sing it note for note. Hey, don't worry. Boom, boom, be happy. In your life there will come some trouble, but when you worry you make it double. Don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry, be happy now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this one goes out to Emily McVicker. And as far as I'm concerned, the queen of the RC 600, which is the looper I used for this song. Like Emily, I have a Patreon page. And if you feel a connection to me or to the music I make, please check out my Patreon. Visit my website. Be in touch. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.
Oh, that was awesome.
Smash
that subscribe button.
Yeah.
Pummel the like button.
Got a little commercial at the end, almost a little bloopers reel there too.
I loved it. That was awesome.
Oh my gosh. And Charlene, I looked at you and we were both singing along.
Yeah.
Great song. Oh my goodness. Well, now, folks, is the time when we bless our donations that are shared today at CSL Leesburg. We believe in the law of circulation, so we are a tithing community. The donations that are shared with our center bless everyone, those who give and those who receive. You can look at the screen. Odds are you have already found a way to give that works for you. And I just want to say how much we appreciate all the donations that come in. We share what we receive with our home organization, as well as organizations that help support our vision of helping to create a world that works for everyone. Now, no matter how you are giving, please take that and just hold that, whether it be physically or mentally within, as we do our blessing of our gifts. The presence of spirit within me blesses everyone I meet, tends to heal everything I touch, brings gladness into the life of everyone I contact. Therefore, I am a blessing to myself, to humankind, and to the day in which I live. And so it is. And now, I feel like there should be a drum roll. It's time for announcements. So we have Dream Study. And tell me, Charlene, when's our next meeting going to be?
A good question. 2 weeks from yesterday.
Alrighty. So like the first weekend in November, the first Saturday in November. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm getting November 5. November 5th.
November 4th. November 4th.
November 4th. Okay. November 4th, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Meet with Charlene and her friends as they interpret and share their dreams. And next.
Okay.
Anything else? Yeah, we got lots of things going on, especially next Sunday. Please join us. We're going to have our new member Sunday, which is always so exciting as we welcome new members to CSL Leesburg. And if you're in the Leesburg area, we're going to combine this. I know, like, we've been pushing out the lunch bunch, but we had this great idea. Let's celebrate in person with our new members. If they can join us, let's meet at Wegmans. We'll have our lunch and just to get together. And what a fun time that will be. On November 5th, see, there's the Sunday after the dream study, we have our conscious giving program kickoff. And this helps us set our budget for next year. So we're going to be kicking things off in November, especially on the 5th. We'll have a special service about that. There is a class that's being kicked around, and we decided to wait until after all the holidays. So stay tuned on that. All right, folks, now it's time to bring our sacred time to a close. And let's once again place our hands over our hearts and just join me in saying, I am love. I am love. Ah, I heard Charlene. Okay, folks, if you can unmute, let me hear you. Look at someone in the room with you. It might be a furry companion. It might be someone that you just want to send that message out. Like I said, we're all connected. So join me in saying, you are love.
You are love.
I heard you now, Dan. And now put your hands up in the air. Join me in saying, it's all love.
Love.
Oh, if you can stay, please stay. We hang out, we talk, we share. What did we like about the meditation, the music, the message? I know that there's a lot I want to share and talk about. And if you have to go, then we send you off with our blessings and our love. Thank you so much for joining us here today. And just, I don't know about you, but that last song is going to be just going through my head for the rest of the day. Don't worry. Be happy. All right, folks. We'll see you. Stay if you can. And if you can't, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.